Welcome to the Havoc video series. In this episode, I'm going to talk about the ebb and flow of the game. This is an intermediate to advanced lesson. When playing this game, I'm always amazed at how many people play this game like it's a static game, which of course is nonsense because there's nothing static about it. Players die, players relocate. The field you play on is ever changing. So why play in one spot or pick one lane when the whole map is yours to do what you want? If you took the very best players in this game or what or whatever and you look at how they play, you'll notice that they don't get married to their initial decision. They might go one way to start, but you will quite often see them pick up and move from one side of the map all the way to the other without a second thought. They're not looking to hold a side. They don't want to trade shots with you. They want to find a weakness, put themselves in a spot where they're not at risk, and punish you for your mistakes. The difference between a 50% player and, say, a 60% player is not fundamentals. You can have two equally good shots, two equally good players. The difference is their ability to read the map, the ability to make quick decisions based on what they've seen on that map. The higher the win rate, the better the player is at reading the map and affecting the game. So, how do we train ourselves to start looking at the map and finding the ebb and flow of the game? It starts at the initial login screen. Look over the tanks on the list, look over the platoons. What players do you recognize? How many flankers do they have? How many TDs do they have? How many heavies do they have? Do they have arty? All these things need to be considered when making your decisions in game. So at the start of a game, I'll go to a spot or I tend to wait and pick a lane after first lights. But either way, once I get to where I'm going, I don't want to build a house there and plant tomatoes. What I'm looking for is an opening that I can exploit. Somebody got too far extended. Somebody on their team died. They didn't cover a lane. Any of these things are perfect for you to exploit or change the outcome of the game. In a full game of 15 versus 15, your ability to make huge sweeping flanks is diminished. As the game progresses and people die, you can start making more bold and bigger moves. A couple of things to keep in mind when making these plays is you don't want to move from one static position to another. You want to always abuse the flanks and you want to go somewhere where you are protected. So for example, if I have a flank and I have harassed the team enough that they decide to take up positions to defend themselves from me, I'm just going to go somewhere else and do the same thing from a different angle. Let's talk for a moment about picking targets. As a general rule, you want to target alpha damage over armor. So TDs are going to be your main target, AFVs and lights are in the middle, and heavy tanks will be your last target. This of course is not set in stone. So if there is a one-shot heavy tank that I can kill or a full health TD next to him, I'm going to take the one-shot heavy tank. A key thing to remember here is that every gun you remove from the game is less damage your team is going to take. So taking a gun out of the game is more important than damaging a tank. Another thing to consider when you're picking your lines for your flank is to think about or look at where the tanks are headed, where the enemy is going. If they're going down the left side of the map, I don't want to meet them at the left side map where they're pushing into. I want to follow them. I want to trail them and pick them off, the ones in the back. And I want to put pressure on them because they're going to meet my forces in the front. I want to come at them from the back or the sides. Another important step on picking your targets is find a target that's engaged with somebody else. They're not paying attention to you. Those are the perfect ones to sweep in, deal some damage, and hopefully influence the game. A word of caution here. There are many times when you get into this mode where you're just kicking ass, you've done your flanks, you've killed some tanks, and then you find yourself, oh my god, I've overextended, and now you're in trouble. So be really careful that you recognize, you're always looking at that mini-map, and you recognize where everybody is, and you have an escape plan. Alright, now I'd like to go through an actual game with you guys, and just kind of show you what I'm thinking about, what drove me to do what I did, and let's see how it turned out. Alright, the first thing I'm looking at is the team list. I am the only Havoc player on my team. I noticed that there's a few Havoc players in the other team. I don't know the other players except for Lady Death. The second thing I'm going to look at is the team composition. So the first thing I want to find is the light tank and the AFV. Once they are lit, I can then make a good decision on where I want to go. I already have an idea in my head where the TDs are going to be. They're going to be at either C4, D23, or G12. I know that the heavies are most likely going to go to DE45, or they may take a dam road push. So you'll notice at the start here that I'm not playing, I haven't really picked a spot. I'm going to hang out in the back. I'm going to defend in case they do a dam road push or do a lower river push. Other than that, I'm just waiting for first lights. It's really important at this stage that you be patient. Wait to see how the game progresses before you make any kind of big move. Another thing to remember is this is an 8v8 game, which means I'm not as restricted as I would be in a 15-15. So I can make big sweeping flanks. So that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for an open lane, an avenue in, so I can get behind this team and really punish them with this big gun. Wait for it, wait for it. There it is. My BMP has just been spotted. Now at this point I'm fairly confident that I can go up on the bridge. If the heavy tanks do appear to be up there, I should be able to escape with little trouble. So now that the BMP is lit, I don't waste any time. I head straight for the hill, I know where I'm going, pretty sure that lane has been left open. When I get to the other end of the bridge, I'm able to take a shot on a light tank. Now the enemy team made a mistake here. I was now lit, I've just done damage, yet nobody came to intercept my push or my flank. This mistake ultimately led me to bring my gun to bear on 3 more tanks, killing 1 and bringing 2 almost to nothing. The last thing I want to touch on is when learning this, you're going to make some mistakes. If you follow my videos, you will have seen that I was on this very map and I made a south flanking push, and I had found myself really out of position. So it does happen. You're going to make mistakes, you're going to get killed early, you're going to be out of position, but don't give up. Keep trying, and those mistakes will happen less often. Now I just want to take a little fanboy moment here and recognize that Garbad was in the first of these 2 games. Garbad was a Unicum in the Clan G in World of Tanks. On both these games he has put out some really quality guides on tanking and advanced tactics. I really recommend all his stuff. Really top notch. He's a hell of a good player, and I was just really happy to see him again. I haven't seen him in a long time, but I was thrilled that he was in my game. So anyway, thanks again for watching. I hope you learned something. I hope you liked it. Please give me any comments, what you'd like to see, and I'll try to make some videos on it. Thanks. Take care.